Hello? Hello? What's up, guys? Game's dead. How's life, internet? What's up? God, my stream is so underutilized. I need to start locking in and actually doing the thing. What's up, guys? How are you? Hello. T-Dude. All right. You know your mic's live. Was worried about the hot mic fart. Hot mic does not combine well with that. That fart you heard was intended, for the record. For the record, the fart was intended. I wanted you to hear it. No, I didn't fart. All right. So, bear with me while I eat lunch. I know I should have done it. Lazy Cat Dad, hello. How are you? Hello, YouTube stream. Nice to see you. I'm not usually on YouTube, but here we are. Sorry for the eating. Let's make sure everything's looking fine. Will, what's up? Huckett, hello. Guys, the TBC Quest Stack Guide's almost done, which is exciting. You guys are playing TBC. And then I'm working on reaching out to a like a Chinese Turbo, what's up? A Chinese like agency to try to get my guides translated to Chinese so I can upload to Bilibili. YouTube kind of does it for you, but it's a little bit less official. would be cool, right? It would be cool. Let's see if this works. All right, I'm gonna try to get the monster thing working before we go live. We're gonna start the boss guide previews in a bit. I'm gonna eat lunch and start to gather the videos, and we'll do about 2 hours. In about 2 hours, I need to whatchamacallit. I need to hop off in order to do some stuff that's quote unquote unsanctioned. And I'm not going to elaborate. All right. La 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 la. What are we doing? 2288669. Oh, I just said my social security number out loud. Shit. Due to upcoming Twitch API changes, you must grant TTS Monster permission to read your channel points events by April 14th. That's next year? Or... Alright, let's see if this works. We're gonna push the button. Hi! What's up? How are you? How are you? How are you?
I'll be sitting down so I don't fucking destroy my toilet.
Oh, Alkalafi, thank you very much for the tier 1, my love. Alkalafi, we're almost at 2 years, my man. That's fucking crazy. What were we doing 2 years ago? Kissing under the moonlight? Something like that. As usual. Let me just boot the game up real quick. Actually, no.
Wait, you? I remember you from the gay bar.
From the gay bar? Fuck yeah, the gay bar. Are you gonna do a So How Hard is TOT video? Yes, I am. Absolutely, I am. That video will come out next Friday, probably. Excuse me. Ugh. You guys wanna watch the Throne of Thunder intro cinematic? Fuck yeah. Kosan, I have no clue. You tell me, bud. You know better than I do.
Pandaria, her hills of gold, in dark and mournful times of
quiet.
old. Tituans.
It's not very loud, is it? Let me just do one of these.
A hopeless horror hold. When from her sacred veil did spring, with storm and flash, a monstrous thing, his name, Lei Shen, the Thunder King. His thunder boomed across the land, and none who dared and fought could stand against the Iron Tyrant's hands. A palace grand, a walled domain, such mighty works born of his reign, built by slaves, their hearts in chains.
Alright, me.
But seasons change and tyrants die. His fury spent in times gone by. The thunder slept beneath Kunlai.
Secure the remains, brothers.
By Zandalari hands, he has been taken. By Zandalari voice, he has awakened.
Rock, Horridon, Tortos, Jin'rokh, Lei Shen. so fucking vibey. I feel like troll raids, not troll raids, but troll raids are really, really cool. They've always done a good job. There's going to be another troll thing in Midnight, which is very exciting. And Zulamon's like a full zone in Midnight. Clean up a little bit. So yeah. I think this raid's gonna be it's gonna be a bit of a grinder. 13 bosses is a lot. It's a lot. So I'm very interested to see how the PGR goes. Will it be harder than Heroic Lich King? I don't know. Hi, Ragged. How are you, bud? There's a lot of trash in this instance, which is good for speedruns. Speedruns like trash, because trash enables you to do really fun tech. Also, a 13 boss instance makes it good for speedruns. What it doesn't make it is good for the rest of us. I don't think we're going to speedrun. My guild doesn't like to speedrun. I love to speedrun. I got Foji to add some snail death jokes in the Weak Aura pack. So keep an eye out for that. 13 bosses is like a regular Wrath raid. I mean, how many bosses were in... whatchamacallit? How many bosses were in ICC? 15? Marogar, Lady Death Whisperer, Gunship, Marogar. Not Marogar. Whatever his fucking name is. Sourfang. I'm not looking at chat. And then 3 in the Plague Wing, that's 7. Then 2 in the Blood Wing, that's 9. Then 2 in the Frost Wing, that's 11. So 12. And then how many were in ICC? Or in Ulduar? Like 15? 4 before you enter. Then Council and Algalon, 6. Then Kolagarn, Cat Lady, 8. Then 1 each around. That's 12. 12? Freya, Mimiron, Thorim. Yeah. No, Throne doesn't have any optional bosses, which is cool. Unless you count Raw Den as optional, but you don't. This song is great. It's so fucking vibey. Is this the only new song for Throne? What do you think the hardest boss will be? I don't know. Foji thinks it's Council, which is the third boss. I think that's gonna be unlikely. There's me. Hi, guys. Halls of Flesh Shaping, Pinnacle of Storms. Mogu. Durumu? This guy was tough? Freya, I'm not sure. No, he doesn't mean twins, he means council. He means the third boss. We'll see. We'll see what is. I know Lei Shen's a fucking grinder, but a lot about Lei Shen is difficult because people... There's just a lot of mechanics that you can just die to. I think if your raid comp is good for it, and you have the coordination to move in the right places, it'll be fine. But there's some stuff in Lei Shen that it's one of those fights that one person can screw you. This is mukbang, yeah. You watch the vid? What vid? Kosan, we're about to. It starts in 10 minutes. I want to start when I said I was going to start. Ragged, are you playing the game? What are you doing, bud? I got to hang out with Dratnos at TwitchCon. It was very fun. Raid logging and world buffing. Nice, Ragged. Change. I was forgetting an ad. Where is this thing? Agnemar, how are you, bud? So I've kind of been taking a little break in terms of streaming. I've been doing a lot of long-term project work. I've been building a little crack team of gamers to help me with building a website. That I think you guys are going to find very interesting. The goal being positioning myself for Classic Plus in a very real way. Now, if Classic Plus fails miserably, which it might, it'll be bad. But I have a feeling that they are putting their future hopes and dreams into it, which means, if anything, it's going to be an interesting thing. The question is it going to be any fucking good? Zaryu did a Twitch poll lately about it. I found that to be a little bit run and gun, a little bit too, what's the word? Impromptu.
So I think what we're doing takes that to the next level. So if you guys have any Classic Plus ideas or pitches that you want to get in front of people, start writing them down. Because you're going to get your chance. Ash, thank you. I'm sorry that I'm eating. We start the Throne of Thunder boss guide previews in 8 minutes. We're going to talk about the first probably 4 to 8 bosses. Zol, why would you tell me? You wouldn't tell me. I mean, you could tell me, but... Zol, yeah, you should write them down. We're building a tool that should be a very interesting resource. For all of us. But ultimately, it's going to kind of be on you guys. Yeah, this is a actually a fried shrimp taco. Personally, I'm good on Classic Plus. I don't like vanilla. It's a fried shrimp taco, as you got done. I got 2 grilled things and then 1 fried. Did you guys see the leak about what Classic Plus might be? I don't believe the leak, but there's some interesting stuff in there. I posted on Twitter. If you type exclamation Twitter, you can see it on Twitter. Also, while you're there, toss your boy a follow. Everybody knows Twitter is where the clout really is. Here, I'll do it for you. There you go. Spurg did it. Thank you, Spurg. All right. Nesby reached a 3-stream streak. I'm colorblind in blue, red, and yellow. I might get benched. Nesby, I don't know what that means, but you're fucked. Do you play WoD? I feel like I would play retail if I got my character transferred to retail. Because I could walk around on my Scarab Lord mount. Make people mad. Oh, for Duramumu? Yeah. I actually don't know that fight very well yet. I know the first 2 and the last 2 semi-well. The rest of them I don't know. Like, at all. I will. Well, we need to hang out more. I miss you. Also, I don't know. Is anybody sitting on a Discord Nitro or a Discord boost? Because I'm trying to get, I think it's 6 or 7 boosts on my server to get a discord.gg/Jordy handle. Let me know if you got one. I would. Glug glug. How many do I need? Let's look. I need 6 to get to level 3. These like silly little things that I care about. What a fucking joke. They can't kill our 6-year-old characters, man. Zol, they definitely can, and they very likely will. All right, so let's talk about it. We're gonna do. Oh, I think my little. Here we go. I think we're gonna do. The first one is Jin'rokh. Before we get into it, I'm going to be doing I'm going to turn these into little YouTube videos. Agnemar, don't worry about it, dude. If you remember it later, great. I'm going to be turning these into little YouTube videos so that people can kind of get a sense of. Hi Padre, how are you, bud? You watch the Throne Fighters today? I like these. Like, yeah, the raid is super vibey. It's very, very cool. I think that you spend half of the raid, or maybe like a third of the raid, in the sewers, which is hilarious. And then it kind of escalates into a lot of the anima stuff. And then the end is just like one of the coolest boss rooms they've ever made. It's kind of it begins one of the like giant platform final boss thing, right? Which I would say maybe Lich King kind of is the first one. But it's a very cool raid. I need to shave, dude. So my plan is to do, actually, we might even do these on Friday, and I'll cut this into thirds. So today we're gonna do the first 5-ish. And I gotta change the thumbnail on the YouTube real quick because I made a little thumbnail for the YouTube. Let me just do that super fast, and then we're gonna go. I promise. This is not it. This is it. Rodden's your favorite fight? Agnemar, Rodden seems like a dumb fight. I'm not gonna lie. What about Rodden is interesting? What about it? All right, let's do thumbnail. Thumbnail. Top phase 3. Go. Oh shit, the file's way too big. All right, file shrinker. Dude, hi Kevin Strauss. I swear to God, YouTube really sucks. Compress PNG. YouTube image file shrinker. A reducer. Here we go. No, free. I don't want to sign up, you fuck. Reducer free. Image resizer. This is the same thing that I just was using. Please don't make me sign up. Oh, it's too big of a file. Well, we're not doing it today. Fuck it. I wonder if I could just screenshot it. That's just like a silly workaround. I made this little thumbnail for the YouTube live stream, but I would have loved to have used it before I go live. But now I'm sitting here having to do it while I'm live, and it's really obnoxious. It's really, really obnoxious. Save as picture. what's the how much? How big is this? Whatever. Save as picture. All right, we're gonna start right now, and then I'm gonna throw chat up on the screen. So if you want to see yourself in the YouTube, you can do that. Save. Okay, we're closing this. Don't save. Now we go back to YouTube. La 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 la. La, la, la. Okay, image file size reducer. Thumbnails. How big is it? Oh, it's small. All right, we're uploading it. Fantastic. Save. There, we did it. Hi, Taz. All right, guys. Let's go. See, look how nice that looks. Look how nice that looks now. Isn't that great? All right. Let's begin with Jin'rokh. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up some things we just have something to start looking at. YouTube. La la la. This is bad. Go. All right. So wait. Why is this off the thing? No. What a fucking shitty streamer I am. How do I get that? Add playing timer, alerts, bad internet, socials. All right, and then let's get chat up on the screen. Chat overlay, and it's not working. Fantastic. Well, there's no chat on the screen. Sorry. Oh wait, on screen just chat. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the first of 3 Throne of Thunder boss guide preview streams. The plan here is to go through all of the bosses in Throne of Thunder ahead of the PTR, which is next week. We're going to be attempting to... Is the chat working? It's not. No, it is working. Why isn't it working? Tristan's on. Oh, it is working. There we go. We're going to be attempting to familiarize ourselves with the raid ahead of the launch of the PTR. This raid has 13 bosses, some of which are considered some of the best bosses they've ever made, namely Lei Shen. And I think that a big part of the raid is going to be just getting through the whole thing. It's like an Ulduar or an ICC in that the raid is very long, and knowing as much as you can ahead of the fights is going to be super crucial in getting stuff down and getting your loot income going so that you don't have to miss a lockout with whatever boss you're at. The goal here is to learn as a group, talk to you guys, and get a sense of what the historical institutional knowledge is, and then from there moving into the PTR, where we will ideally blast it as long as there's enough difficulty to keep it interesting. I've been studying a little bit, not a ton, but there are a lot of things done that I've been working on already that are going to be extremely fun to show you. Before we get into exactly the things, I want to show you guys the intro for the boss guides, because it's actually pretty rad. I'm really, really proud of it. Cosmo did a really, really good job. Why isn't that showing up? Let me just download it real quick. Wait. All right, we're downloading it. Here we go. Are you ready? Wait, can you hear that? I don't know why it's not playing with audio. I've got to play it with audio. Is it this? The frick? All right, here we go. This is it. Pretty cool. We did such a good job with it. I'm really into it. It's come a long way from School Noir. Isn't it fun? And it's quick. But, like, it's a really, really, really detailed asset. Cosmo did a great job. Alright, so get ready to see that 13 times. I'm also going to be doing 10-man guides and shorter, like 30 to or 60 seconds to 2-minute guides. I'm hiring a couple editors to help me with those because I can't do all of the stuff in time. So hopefully those all get to you. If that's what you're looking for, great. If you're looking for the regular guides, great. I'm also going to try to keep the memes to a minimum because they take me a long time to do, and I just got to get the guides done. So we'll see how it goes. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start with Jin'rokh. How do I know I can't do it in time? I know you're capping, but you know that I can't. All right. I don't know when the raid's coming out, but I just know that I won't be able to if I have 3 sets of guides to do. Jory's about to drop the Leishan guide by the time we get to WAD. Yeah, exactly, Zool. All right. So we have a lot of stuff to choose from. These Gabesta videos generally are pretty good. There's also a guy in my community named Taliador, I believe, who made some pretty cool little images that we're going to be referencing today. That just kind of has short summarization all on them, which we're going to be looking at. No, I gotta save that. Save image. We'll go Gen 1. And then they're not perfect, but if you're looking for these, they're in my Discord. How much work is this rating to be for a hunter? You'll end up doing a lot of the mechanics. But that's good. You want that because you're already like studying in a way that the other 9 or 24 people in your raid have not been, because you're just sitting here talking to me. So it's better for you to be doing the mechanics than it is for anybody else. I promise you. All right, we got, after this, it's Tortos. Tortos 1 and Tortos 2. Okay, and then we got one more after that. We'll do 5 today. And then we'll probably do the last few on Friday ahead of my GDKP. Gera 2. Fat Boss is Biss. We could do Fat Boss. Do we have an ETA on the launch of Throne? So, yes, Tag, we will. Thank you. Sorry. ETA on the launch of Throne is either, it could be as early December, or it could be as late as early to mid-January is my guess. Outside of that, I can't tell you. I don't know. All right, so this is the little like Jin'rokh mini guide, which we can reference as we go through it. But let's get going with the Fat Boss does like normal guides. We're gonna watch the Vox guides from Gapesta. All right, Jin'rokh.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Koldar here. Today we are looking at Heroic Jin'rokh the Breaker in
For the record, this is an 18-minute guide.
Throne of Thunder. So, this guy feels
Look how many
appropriately
skeletons
difficult
are on the
for
ground.
the first Heroic, sort of like his normal counterpart. Not all that difficult, and there are only a few changes.
Not all
on
that
Heroic.
difficult, really.
So I'll cover those changes first, and then we'll go through the fight as a whole and some tips.
Are there 25-man guides that you guys know of? Because all I'm seeing are 10-man stuff. Jin'rokh 25-man guide. Rough War. Fat Boss has 10-man. I mean, it's all 10-man, dude. People stop doing 25-man stuff. It might as well be the same. It's fine.
Difficult and there are only a few changes on Heroic. So I'll cover those changes first, and then we'll go through the fight as a whole and some tips for phases and transitions. So let's get started. So there are two major changes to the Heroic version of this encounter. The first is a brand new ability called Ionization.
Jin'rokh is free.
This is cast.
Jin'rokh is not free. It's not going to be as hard as Zorlok was for the first boss, or maybe Protectors, but it's a fight. Like, look how many fucking bodies there are, dude.
Cast once every statue round, and it is cast about 20 seconds after your tank is thrown into the
That's
next
Thundering
statue.
Throw.
So about 20 seconds.
So it throws the tank at the furthest statue, the furthest from him, creating a conductive water pool which grows over time that buffs damage and healing. And the buff is the narrator's voice is low. Okay, I will try to raise it for you. The buff increases your damage and healing by 50%, I believe.
Seconds after the puddle begins to appear.
Is that better?
When Ionization is cast, Jin'rokh will apply the Ionization debuff to all raid members, excluding your tanks. This debuff lasts 24 seconds, and it's a magic.
Okay, so the tank hit the statue, then it creates this pool on the ground. Now, think of it like water and lightning, and standing in water while it's electrocuted just kills everybody within the water, right? So people get afflicted with different lightning debuffs on this fight. There's one called Ionization, and there's another one called Storm Energy, and I think it's Storm Energy. And the Ionization is a magic debuff that when it expires or it's dispelled, is when it's removed some way, it does 400 and something thousand damage, which is just about enough to one-shot you. Now, what Tove is saying is true. You can pre-AMS or cloak it or bubble it. Anything that that prevents you from getting that applied to you. Why is this so small now? Make it bigger. Why is it so fucking small? Ugh. Oh, I have two Twitch chats on my screen. That's the issue. And so deterrence works, does it? Okay. Now, the issue though with popping your deterrence or your cloak or whatever is that if it removes the debuff and you're standing in the water, everybody will die. So you need to make sure that it's up before it is applied, or if you mistime it and it's applied and then you remove it and you're not standing in the right place, everybody dies and you'll wipe. So you got to be very careful. We'll see how reliable the boss timers are on this fight. If they're super reliable, then everybody's going to do it. If they're not reliable, then it's going to be a problem.
Dispellable debuff. So there you can see it was on.
What you don't want to do as a Mistweaver, if you want to wipe your raid, is the second it goes out on everybody, cast Revival. And it will cleanse the entire raid in a bad spot, and it'll kill everybody. Now there's probably a strategy where everybody can run out of the water pool in specific spots, and then you revival, and so that everybody pulses, the damage goes out, and everybody's healed. Are there any patchwork type fights? Actually don't know. Aurelia, I don't know. This is not a patchwork fight.
There. When this ability is dispelled, or
this guy's
when
going
it
out,
runs out naturally,
and
it
he's
just
dispelled,
expires,
and he runs back in.
this will deal 450,000 nature damage to that player that it was on, as well as anyone within 4 yards of them.
Static burst.
So we'll get into
the thing I
some
was just talking about.
tactics for how to handle this in a little bit. But the
The,
basic idea is you have
these
to
pillar
get rid
things.
of 8 of these stacks throughout the raid.
Don't be anywhere near
within
this
the
bitch.
24-second
Larry
duration.
Bear, thank you for
period,
the tier 1, brother.
doing so safely. The second major change to heroic has to do with the light.
Okay, so there's another mechanic on here, and he's not really getting into it. We'll back up a little bit. There is something called focus lightning, I believe? Yes. He'll summon a ball of lightning that will then fixate on a player and chase them around. Now, if you're standing in the pool and you get hit by this, you will die, and everybody in the pool dies, I think. What you're trying to do is run these lightning balls outside of the raid. You can see one right here. Kite them away from the pool, drop it off where it'll hit you, and then move back into the pool. Now, it's complicated by the fact that the ball is slightly faster than the player. So there's going to be some movement speed stuff that people are doing. And you want to be very cognizant of like which direction you're running, because it's better to drop it where you're going to be going, which we'll talk about why in a second, than where you came from, because you're going to have to run through the entire pool. If the timing is bad. So in the beginning of the fight, like the entrance is right over here. Before the pool is down, you're going to drop these balls off on these grates right here. And then when the pool drops, when the pool drops, then you're going to drop the balls over here. Now, the lightning balls, if they collide with one of these fissures, which is created when the ball hits a player, it will explode and do a bunch of damage. So you can't hit another player's lightning fissure pillar thing. You have to dodge that. That was a little bit unclear when I first was looking at this fight. So make sure there's a clear line between you, the ball, and there's nothing between you, lightning pillar wise. So the pool's about to go down. This player is going to run towards this other area over here, because this is where they're going to be going next. You're going clockwise around the room. Okay.
After your tank is thrown into the next statue. So about 20 seconds after the puddle begins to appear.
So he's dropping it off on the grate
when
over
ionization
there.
is cast, Jin'rokh will apply the ionization debuff to all raid members, excluding your tanks. This debuff lasts 24 seconds, and it's a magic dispellable debuff.
So
There you
ionization
can see it was on
is
there.
a very good priest fight.
When this ability is dispelled,
Because
or when it runs out naturally, it just
powered
expires.
shields will save lives.
This will deal 450,000
I think you
nature
run
damage
body and
to
soul
that
on this
player
fight
that it was
over
on,
Angelic Feather,
as well as anyone within 4
which
yards.
is very
of it.
exciting.
So we'll get into some.
All right, so
Tech-
the pool's expanding. Everybody's got the damage buff, but it's also a nature damage taken debuff. And then the goal here is to not drop any lightning effects within the water. And then when the lightning storm, which is like the giga mechanic, is about to happen, everybody moves out of the water because it's about to get electrified, and it becomes instant wipe.
Tactics for how to handle this in a little bit. But the basic idea is you have to get rid of 8 of these stacks throughout the
There's a
raid
roar
within the
into the
24-second
lightning storm,
duration period, doing so safely.
and now
The
the lightning
second
storm
major
goes out.
change to heroic has to
So-
do with the lightning storm.
This lightning storm, we're gonna see the logic on it, because I'd be willing to bet power cable and a pool light. Yes, I'd be willing to bet there is some logic. I'm wondering, is it room wide where the possible pillars land, or is it based off where the boss is? Are you better off standing closer to a pillar than further away because of the way that the ball lightnings spread? It's a little bit unclear right now. So we'll see via testing what the meta ends up being.
So here you can see storm started. In addition to the normal AE damage on the raid, there's also the addition of these new
These really
lightning
don't
strike
look
pillars.
too bad.
These will hit random areas around the room during the storm.
One thing that you're going to see a lot of min-maxing happening here is trying to continue to do a bunch of damage to the boss during the lightning storm. And it makes sense to want to run away from the boss and make sure that you're not distracted by him. But at the same time, the sooner the boss dies, the fewer lightning storms you get. And lightning storm's kind of the most dangerous mechanic on the thing. So if you can skip a lightning storm, that's going to be really good for you.
Any player inside one takes 400,000 nature damage. And in addition to that, the lightning strikes will spawn 4 lightning bolts that move out in random directions. So you can kind of see it's basically a advanced game of Frogger. You have to dodge these effects.
See the lightning, the pool over there is electrified. You can't stand in that anymore. But he's throwing the tank now at the pillar. So the tank is attempting to not cut off any side of the room in the clockwise fashion that they're running around. So they're going to move the boss just a tiny bit further away from the pillar that they want to get thrown to than the other two, so that they can force throw the pillar that they are attempting to.
And heal the damage from the storm as normal. Any lightning bolt that hits a player will do 200,000 nature damage.
So they just got thrown.
Not quite as dangerous as a pillar.
Now they're moving the boss towards
they can stack up
the
quickly.
pool so that the melee can stand in it
we'll get
while they
into the specifics of
DPS.
that in a
They're
little
dropping
bit.
the balls off.
Other
in
than
the
those two
corners.
things, however, this fight is identical to the normal version in terms of mechanics.
Ionization
and
goes
tactics
out.
and all that stuff.
So you can see, I believe this is a paladin, and I believe he bubbled it. This monk has the ionization debuff, so he's probably going to run out and dispel himself. Or no, actually, these are the debuffs.
Let's just get into some of the strategy for handling the changes on Heroic.
Huh.
So first, we'll talk about handling ionization. The first major thing you should
Look
know
at the top DPS. It's shamans and a druid. This is interesting.
is that the primary
Is
rule
it a
is
bear
to
druid
never
or a
have
bow druid?
ionization
Looks like a bear
expire or be dispelled
or a cat.
while you're within a puddle. Obviously, the damage that is dealt to you will spread throughout the puddle and be doubled to
Oh no,
anyone
it is a
that's in
bow
it.
druid.
So you'll just wipe everyone pretty much instantly. So obviously don't want to do that. Therefore, because there's a small AE effect when ionization is dispelled, you need to position your raid members properly so that they don't hit anybody else when they're running out of the puddle to get the ionization removed. The way you do this is up to you really, but we kind of assigned players to general front, middle, or back sections of the puddle. So we would hang out on the side, and then when those players were ready to be...
So notice how they're generally opting to be on the left side of the puddle. That's because as soon as ionization goes out, you want to start dealing with some of them. You don't want to leave all of them to expire, because if all of them expire, there's not enough room for everybody to pop at the same time. So if you stand right at the edge of the pool, you have to run as small distance as feasible so that you're out of the pool, then you can be dispelled, and then you can run back into the pool. It just makes the whole thing a little bit faster. You want to wait and lust during a puddle? Yes. So I think that you want to lust as soon as the first puddle goes down. If you're a hunter, this doesn't matter, obviously, because you can run in DPS, so like where you're standing doesn't really matter as much, but you still want to be on the left side of the pool. These guys on the right side, I think this is probably a strategy that is going to be not as popular because they're fanning out in both sides for the ionization. Maybe in 25-man, maybe, but I have a feeling it's not going to be something people do because you want to be on the left side so that you can move left, and you also want everybody kind of stacked in the pool if you can help it, so that healing rain and effluent and stuff works.
Dispelled ionization, they would move out.
That guy
kind of in their
is dropping the lightning ball on the right side of the pool. That's not what I would do. I would drop it behind you on the grate.
respective quadrant or area, and
Over there
not be
by
too close
that
to each other.
pillar.
So beyond that, you need ways to dispel beyond just your healer dispels if you're using 2 healers, and you don't want it to expire on its own. So, for example, we have 2 DPS shaman.
This is also a raid that your tanks and DPS are going to have to learn to dispel again. Up till now, it's just been the healers, but Brewmaster monks and Windwalker monks can dispel. They just have, it's just poison and disease. Shamans, I believe, can dispel also. What is it? What's the DPS shaman dispel?
They both use Glyph of Shamanistic Rage.
Glyph of Shamrage.
Which, in addition...
No. What is the enhancement shaman? Shaman mop dispel. Somebody help me with this. It's poison? Is it a totem? I mean, there's Glyph of Shamrage, which dispels yourself. But that's not what I'm talking about. I don't know, whatever. Is it curse? I don't know. We'll look in, I'll look into it. It's important to know because I feel like there on Horridon especially, there are a lot of different debuffs. It's poison, okay. So on Horridon, you're gonna have your DPS shamans dispel. You're gonna have your DPS monks and tank monks dispel. So make sure you guys have your raid frames in a good spot so that you can do that. The healers dispels have an 8-second cooldown, and they're gonna be coming out faster than that. So
to just using Shamanistic Rage to lower the damage from the effect, it also dispels a magic debuff on them. So this saves us healers 2 dispels we'd otherwise have to do. Our Shadow Priest also dispels his own, so again that saves us another
Shadow
one.
Priest dispels.
And
mass
I'm able to use
dispels.
diffuse magic as a monk every
Monk
90
diffuse,
seconds, which
that's
is the
nice.
cooldown of ionization. So
monks never have to worry
that
about
also
it.
saves a dispel glow.
Can you diffuse? Can you pre-diffuse the thing as a monk? You can't, right? It just cleanses it, and you take 90% less damage, so it's not going to hurt you.
Or a dispel cooldown as well. So anything you have like that to dispel yourself with it, actually using a dispel cooldown will be very handy for this.
Interesting. Okay.
In addition to that, if you have a form of immunity, you can preemptively immune yourself and never get ionization in the first place.
Yeah, that's going to be big.
It's difficult to notice
Shaman has curse
on my
poison.
grid,
Okay.
but when ionization is cast every
And
other time,
I assume poison.
our Holy Paladin is able to bubble it preemptively, and therefore the application never actually gets on him. So
Goes on, what's
any class that has some form of immunity
Goes
can
on.
do this as well. So you
Shut
can
up.
ice block it. I think you can cloak with shadows. Hunters can deterrence. AMS from Death Knights probably works. Anything like that. If you can be immune when ionization is
All right, we're going to skip to the
in my
lightning
gear.
storm.
and then any follow-up AE hit would probably be deadly. So the way we handled it was sort of rotating players. And the tip that was suggested in our raid that works really well
See how they're
is
all on the
basically
left side of the
to
pool?
have the healer dictate who it is they want to come out of the puddle and get dispelled. So, for example, in my group, I'm healing.
There's a lot of damage amp fights in this raid, so monks and priests are going to be very, very good healers in this raid. Yes, the cooldown of ionization is 90 seconds because he does ionization, and then he does a lightning storm, and then he'll do ionization again. So, yes, Bedgerton, Throne of Thunder is much harder than phase 1. Much. So you can pre-AMS every single one. You can't pre-bubble everyone, but I think most groups are on 25-minute at least are going to be able to kill him, hopefully, before the second lightning storm, which means that you're going to get 2 ionizations. Now, that may not be at launch. That might be eventually, but we'll see. I would estimate that half the bosses are harder than Empress. Yeah, we'll see. I think Foji is going to carry a lot in this raid, which will be nice. But we'll see. It's also a long linear raid, so you can't skip to easy stuff.
In the first group that I'm in, and dispelling them.
They only have curse unless they're healer.
When the ionization is about to
Fair
hit,
enough.
both
There's
the
still a
hunter
curse on
and
Horridon.
I will step out, and I dispel myself instantly with diffuse, and then I manually dispel him while he cooldowns, and then we go back in the puddle, and then the Shadow Priest and the DPS Shaman that are in my group, then they go out either at the same
guy's
time
really
or
yapping
taking
about
turns. It doesn't really
ionization.
matter. But that way I can call out one of their names
Is this what it's
that I'm
like
actively healing
watching
and
one of
keep
my
them
guides?
topped off and provide a hot or whatever it is. And in group 2, the same is happening for our Holy
So
Paladin.
Body and Soul, a Disc Priest talent, gives you a 40% move speed boost every time Power Shield is applied to you. So it's very, very good for this fight in multiple ways, but chiefly to get out of the group when you're got a lightning ball on you or when you're about to get dispelled with ionization. Because then you get to move out quick, get dispelled, the bubble will protect you from most of the damage, and then you can run back in. Very, very good.
And
What's his total
group members
HP?
there.
It looks like
So
317.
right now he's healing
This
our
is
druid
10
who
man.
just
I don't
stepped
know what the
out to get
25 man
dispelled
one is.
while I was doing the same with our priest in the first group. So basically just communicate who should be out of the
25
puddle, ready for
man,
dispel, and therefore using their cooldown,
Jin'rokh HP.
expecting the dispel to hit them at some moment. And then you can just rotate through players within that 24-second period pretty easily with this.
952.
So, managing the new lightning storm
Almost
is
a
by
bill.
far the most difficult aspect of Heroic. There's just a lot of damage going on, and it's very difficult for everyone in the raid to successfully.
So it's 952 bill. So he's got 3 times the amount of HP. So the thing about Lightning Storm, and which I think might end up being the case, is rather than actually dodging the lightning like this, you might just pop a bunch of raid CDs and just stand pretty much still and maybe shift left and right to dodge the balls a little bit, but you're going to try to be by the boss so that the melee get max uptime and you're just soaking all this shit. So you pop Devo, AMZ, Barrier, Spirit Link, maybe some revivals, stuff like that, in order to get maximum uptime and give people all of the best odds at surviving. Frogger and Spirit Link, yeah. The problem with Spirit Link is while it is going to be helpful to soak some of the damage from the tick damage during Lightning Storm, what it's not going to do is save you from dying from a big hit, because Spirit Link has a 1 second refresh. So you might just get blasted hard, which would be a bummer. I gotta adjust this. Where night dev dot. I gotta fix this. We'll fix that later. Okay.
Dodge every bolt that's going on.
These
which means
lightning
spike
bolts
damage
also
can kind of go up and down.
they kind of fixate on you when they get close. So there might be some strategy where somebody who's really, really beefy kind of body blocks in front of a thing and drags it away from the group, kind of like distracting the ball away from most of the raid. Now, I don't know how easy that is going to do, but we'll see.
If someone gets hit here and there
I
by one of these random
I haven't
bolts.
seen them.
So the name of the game
behave
for
like this,
us
so we'll see.
was rotation of raid cooldowns wherever possible. So generally in the first storm, I would try to use my
You're also going to roar here. You're going to roar out of the thing because you
revival
can't be
cooldown,
in
which is not the
the
greatest
pool
because
when it
it's
gets
just
electrified.
a bunch of instant healing. So it's good to top everyone off, but
It does look like it takes
because
a while
the
to get
spike damage
electrified
just
until
hits
a
from a
pillar
couple
hits
bolts
it. So.
at once, sometimes it's not the best. But we use that and
So
then
look, he ate a bolt. How much did it do? Like 300?
off, but because the spike damage just hits from a couple
And-
bolts at once, sometimes it's not
That's
the
a
best.
bolt. That's a bolt.
But we use that and then
It's like
a
200.
Paladin Devotion Aura.
Desby, it's actually harder to dodge than it looks. I do think this phase is a lot of damage, but it's not where you as the raid is doing the most damage. So having people spread to dodge so they can stay up with the puddle buff might be better than losing a person in the storm. True, dude. But there is an argument to be made that the plan is to get the raid closer to the boss intentionally so that you can skip a second lightning storm. So you eat it intentionally in order to do that. We'll see.
And then the second time around, we have our Balanced Druid use Tranquility while
Give
she
me 1 second.
uses her Bark Skin cooldown, and I use my shield bubble thing on her. So she's able to just stand still and use Tranquility for a few seconds and take the hits if they come at her. And that's a really good cooldown, actually. And then we also have a Devotion Aura from our other Paladin with that. And then third time, it's back to Revival and first Devotion Aura once again. Beyond that, of course, is just any extra cooldowns that raid members have to help survive, throw out healing whenever they can. The key, of course, is just survival. You don't have to worry about doing damage during Lightning Storm because with appropriate damage to be doing heroics, you shouldn't have a problem with the Berserk timer on this fight. Assuming you're using 2 healers. With 3, it might be a little trickier. But, yeah. So, as for dodging them, the only major tip I can offer that helped us was kind of hang out near one of the cubbies. So we tried to position the puddles throughout the fight so they would always spawn just going clockwise around the room. So the next one would be clockwise from the previous one.
So I'm sure I totally agree
And
with
then when
this
storm
thing here,
starts,
but we'll
we just
see.
move
I'm sorry.
clockwise one extra section to the next quadrant and hang out near that cubby area. This helps with heal range, first and foremost.
We'll see.
And also it tends to be easier to dodge things since if you just think of the entire room as a valid location for the
All right.
pillars to land.
So that's Jin'rokh. It is probably the easiest fight in here. Unless some crazy cheese is possible that we're not aware of. But we'll see. Let's move on to Horridon, the Mount boss. Should we watch the Magnus Linden guide?
Hello cuties, I'm Mags, and here's a 25-minute guide to Heroic Horridon. I will be covering the heroic mechanics on this encounter, and I'm going to assume that you guys have done this encounter in normal mode, so I will not be covering most of the normal mode abilities.
We haven't.
For this encounter, you'll want to bring 2 to 3 tanks and 5 to 6 healers. We use 3 tanks and 6 healers in our kill. The more tanks and healers you add, the more stability you will have throughout the encounter.
Norabel, sorry, that command only works on Twitch. I gotta make a YouTube bot, but Throne PTR is on Tuesday.
But you will also increase the length of the fight, which will mean that Horridon will most likely berserk on you. However, his berserk is not that big of a deal because he wastes a lot of time using double swipe, and he will also not gain a movement speed increase during berserk, so you have about a full minute to kill him before he uses his last dire call to kill you. The 2 abilities added to heroic mode in this encounter is dire call and dire fixation. We'll cover dire call first. Horridon uses dire call every 60 seconds, and it deals 270,000 physical damage while increasing attack speed of the adds by 50% for a short duration. Dire call is used throughout the entire fight and is something healers have to pay attention to make sure that no one is low on health right before it's being used. Also, its damage is physical, so Hand of Protection will completely negate its damage, and other cooldowns can and should be used to mitigate as much damage from it as possible. The second ability happens after every single dire call is cast. 2 random players in the raid, starting with ranged DPS, gets a debuff called Dire Horn Fixation. This will spawn a pink transparent dinosaur.
Okay, so Horridon is a fight that's essentially just an ad fight, right? You start in this big arena after doing this really toxic bridge of ghosty troll trash, which will be really fun to watch your people fail. And there are 4, Red Tusk, we'll talk about it in a second. There are 4 troll doors, and each one has an insignia on it that's related to the tribe of troll that's behind it. So there's the Gurubashi, there's the let's look at the other ones. I can't remember. The sand, whatever, the Faraki, the Drakari.
Spell works great for this. And also Sand Trap, which does approximately about double damage.
Okay, the Faraki. Okay, so you go through all 4 doors. Amani, thank you. You go through all 4 doors, and then after you've defeated all 4 doors, which I'll kind of explain in a second, the dude, the arena master jumps down, and you kill him, and then you kill the boss, Horridon. Each set of doors has a bunch of trash associated with it, and they all do different things. Now, they're all versions of kind of a similar idea. There's one mob that does a ground effect, there's one mob that does a debuff, and then there's kind of like a trashy mob within each of them, and they all have just little different versions. The first one, the Faraki, have a magic debuff that does is it magic or disease? No, it's not disease. I think it's magic. It's a magic debuff that does, I think it's just dot damage. And then there is a sand trap on the ground that just expands over time. So you want to make sure you're killing the waste walkers. Those are the taller guys first, okay? And then eventually, sometime into the door, a Dinomancer will spawn, and it'll jump down. And if you DPS the Dinomancer at 50%, the Dinomancer will drop an orb of command, which will then mind control or cause Horridon to get angry or whatever, and then he will charge the door where the trolls are running out of and break it, which will then stop those ads from spawning. So the goal is to, as soon as possible, reduce the Dinomancer's HP to 50%, have somebody pick up the orb on the ground, which will then cause Horridon to charge the door
And yes, and what Gabe is saying, it will give him a debuff that increases his damage taken by 50% for each door he does. And there are 4 doors. So by the end of the fight, he's taking triple damage, 100%, 200% from what he does normally. So sounds like a hunter job. I actually think it will likely be a healer job. But yes, it could be a hunter job, because while you've got it, you're actually unable to cast. You're just holding it and channeling it. So you need to kind of get it as quick as you can. Now, it's going to be a pain in the fucking ass to find it, the orb, under a bunch of bodies. So you're going to need someone who's really paying attention to watch when the Dinomancer spawns, and as soon as it's 50%, they need to grab it as fast as possible, because the longer you haven't broken the door, the longer ads from that door are going to spawn, and you don't want any additional ads if you can help it. He also, the boss itself only does like 2 things. He does something called Dire Call. Probably Agnamore, probably yes. It's like a... you can do the Sevar thing or whatever. You can do the macro thing, but you still have to be standing next to it. So the boss only does 2 things, I believe. He does one thing called Dire Call, which is where you're going to be using all of your raid CDs. And it does a bunch of physical damage and increases the attack speed of the enemies you're fighting for a short time. And then he does something called... He does like a charge, and then he does a double swipe or whatever, which does a ground effect in front and behind him. So you can't just stand behind him. You need to be on the sides of him. Probably hardcore casual. Yes, you can spam interact key for it. So yeah, and then he also does a I think it's like an armor debuff or a damage taken debuff on the tank. So it's just like a taunt swap. So yeah, see if you see his timers, he's got Zandalari Dinomancer spawning in 3 seconds. So as soon as that's up, they're going to get off of whatever ads they're on and swap to it in order to very quickly drop that orb so that they can move on to the next thing.
Being alive on this gate, it's advisable that you tank the ads away from the wall so that the melee can have their camera angled better and not be stuck at the wall to die from sand
The
traps.
Dynamancer pretty much just landed on his head.
So to recap on this,
So that's what you want to get.
all you have to do is don't send in sand traps, dispel blazing sunlight off people, tank the ads away from the wall so you may have an easier time with camera angles.
There's the double swipe. So as soon as that goes out, you have to dodge it. Hold on, let me... Hey, I'm streaming. Can I call you back? Bye.
Once you get him to half health, click on the orb to challenge.
So the Dinomancer has gone down, I believe.
To break the gate.
And then somebody picked up the orb, caused Horridon to charge the gate, and down he goes.
So the next gate is the Gurubashi.
So now the boss is taking extra damage, and what you can do, ostensibly, is cleave off the boss like you could on Garelon and deal extra damage to the ads because of the damage buff. Now, the complicating factor here is that positioning is kind of important here because the boss is gigantic and you can't see shit on the ground. So if he's huge and he's standing on stuff, it's going to be harder for you to dodge. Kind of like how difficult it is on Amber Shaper. So you want to be very careful about where you're tanking the boss. Now, there's going to be a bunch of different ways that people do this. Some people are going to take it perpendicularly. Some people are going to take it parallel. We'll see what the meta ends up being, but yeah.
There's a few things you need to look out for here. First of all, the running charge ability cast by Bloodlords coupled with the Venom Bolt volley from Venom Priest will do a lot of dot damage. At Paladins...
Alright, so the next one is the Gurubashi, which is the Stranglethorn Vale tribe. Their whole thing is poison. So this one's actually really easy, I think, so long as you are very, very, very on top of kicking the Venom Priests. Because they do a AoE poison that applies a poison debuff, but it's kickable. So you can actually negate most of the damage if people are on top of kicking it.
Hand of Purity will mitigate a lot of this damage. Make
Hand
sure
of
you
Purity,
kill the
nice.
Venom Priest as fast as possible and prioritize killing them over the Bloodlords. And kick every Venom Bolt volley they try to cast. Eventually, the Venom Priest will spawn Venom's infusions. Make sure you don't stand close to these when they spawn. As they
So
drop a
these guys, these venomous infusions, they drop shit on the ground. So you want to move out of it.
living poison on the ground, as can be seen here. This poison is very deadly and will kill anyone standing in it. Also, make sure you kick the infusions when they try to cast Venom Bolt Volley.
Yeah, the infusions also do the volleys. You want to kick those.
As with the first gate, don't tank the ads by the wall so melee have an easier time to get a better camera angle.
So real pros, the dinosaur Horridon will turn and target somebody with a charge, and then he'll charge towards them, and then, which doesn't actually do any damage to that player, but then it will cast double swipe, which is the cone in front and behind it. So real pros will recognize that they're being targeted by the charge, and then rocket boot away from the group to turn the boss so that instead of the area that you're DPSing the ads being double swiped, it will DPS it away from them, which will be really, really cool. It's gonna be interesting. You're gonna be really grateful if somebody's able to pull that off. There's also Dino Mending.
If you have problems
interrupt
with
that.
dropping the Venom Bolt Volley, cast
That's on the
Venom Priest with better
Dinomancer,
infusions.
I believe.
What you can do
Maybe
is
it's the
having
priest.
a Mystery Monk use
But notice, look at the boss's HP. It's not that low. You don't really DPS the boss too hard until later in the fight. And Red Tusk asked earlier, but there's been some theorization that depending on the raid's DPS, you might opt to not kill the ads and just DPS the boss hard as fuck and try to kill it before the final phase. I think that will ultimately be the strategy, but I'm not sure it'll be the strategy on Prague. So we'll see if people opt to do that. I'll be very excited if we see it on the PTR.
Quick.
So the Orb of Control just dropped because the Dinomancer hit 50%. Someone's going to pick it up.
The area you tank the ads and filter
Then that
poison,
beam,
you
that
want to
yellow
slowly
beam
move
you're
it
seeing right
backwards.
there is mind controlling the thing.
To
He's going
recap
to
on his
charge the
gates.
gate.
Watch out for double dot debuff, Rending Charge, and Venom Bolt Volley, and use Hand of Purity Fable. Prioritize killing Venom Priest first, while AoEing the rest of the ads down. Make sure you lock down Venom Priest and Venom Infusions by kicking all their Venom Bolt Volley casts. And of course, don't send in poison. Besides that, don't tank the ads by the wall for melee to get a better camera angle, as with the previous gate. And once there's enough living poison on the ground, slowly start moving the ads backwards towards the next gate to give yourself some more room. And of course, once the Dynamax is down, get up to half health to click on the orb to destroy the gates. The third gate is the Dracarys.
Okay, so now the boss is taking double damage. So he's starting to... I mean, he ostensibly has, instead of 2 billion HP, he has 8.5. Whatever. 9. Maths. 925 million. 960. Holy fuck, I'm terrible at math. So we'll see exactly 980. We'll see exactly. Good lord. What people opt to do.
As with the other gates,
but
there will be one.
It'll be interesting to see over time how the strategy develops, because I really think that there's going to be some major optimizations on this fight in order to do just enough damage to survive with the ads while dumping as much as you can onto the boss.
One ad that you want to prioritize killing over the other ads, and that is the Dracarys Frozen Warlord.
Okay, so this is the Dracarys. These are the undead ones from undead-esque ones from Northrend, right? I think they're the what's that? Zoldrak zone, right? They have a disease that's really dangerous, so you need to cleanse that. You can't mass dispel it, and they summon a little disease-ish gut zombie thing.
Make sure you kill the warlords whenever they come down and just AoE down the rest of the ads.
So the Frozen
Don't
Warlords
forget
summon
that neither
a
Kari
Frost
warrior
Orb.
and champion cannot be tanked and will randomly pick targets to attack, and also don't forget that you can stun them. Make sure you dispel the deadly plague disease that comes from those ads too. The warlords will drop a frozen orb, which you can see here. All you have to do is slowly back away towards the next gate whenever they drop these orbs. Healers need to watch out for Mortal Strike from the warlords onto tanks. It will do a lot of damage. And to recap this gate. As with the first gate, this gate is pretty easy. There will be champions and warriors running around attacking random players. Stun these and just aid them down, and make sure you prioritize killing the warlords. Dispel the deadly plague disease as it infects the raid. Whenever a warlord drops a frozen orb,
Here comes the
slowly start
Dynamancer.
heading towards the next gate to avoid damage. As with the other gates, don't tank the ads by the wall to make it easy for melee, and
Okay.
of course, when a Dynamancer spawns, get them to half health, activate the orb
They're
to destroy the gate.
smacking the Dynamancer as fast as they can.
The last gate is the
Now they're
Amani
getting
gate,
the orb.
and is generally the most difficult gate. There's a few
Alright.
things to watch out for here.
So now they're on the Amani Gate, which is the Zolomon trolls. This one is the final one. The boss is taking 150% more damage. So that's very exciting. But at the same time, there is a lot going on. You're likely going to have some stuff left over from the Drakari Gate. There's still like frost orbs up here. And there's also like really scary casters in this group.
Flame casters will chain cast Fireball, which hits for about 200,000 fire damage. The Warbears have a frontal cone swipe, so tank them away from the raid.
Yeah, so you remember
These
those
shamans that
warbears
ride
from
those war-
ZA? They behave very similarly in this, where you attack the warbear, and at one point, the warbear will die. The troll will fall off of it, and then you got to kill the bear itself.
Warbears will cast Chain Lightning, even when
No, you cannot control the order of the gates. It's just it's clockwise around, starting on the left. They also drop a really spooky lightning totem, which is going to be very dangerous if you stand anywhere near it. So the second that you see it spawn, you got to move away,
riding on the Warbears. But that is being nerfed in
and you
patch
got to spread out
5.3.
because there's chain lightning.
The Chain Lightning will jump to 2 targets, so make sure to spread out. The Shamans will also cast Hex of Confusion on 5 random targets, which is a curse that needs to be dispelled
Curse.
as soon as possible. And will also drop Lightning Nova Totem close to them, which pulls
So this curse again is something that mages can do. Still, DPS shamans can do, and healer shamans. And I can't remember if monks can. Paladins can't. Priests can't. Druids can. Can DPS druids decurse in MOP? Maybe balanced druids will help out. Bears and cats probably won't, because they are in form. But I assume balanced druids can while they're in Moonkin form, right? So, but can you do it while you're in cat or bear, Laz? Balance if they symbiosis a shaman. Can you do it while in form? No, we looked it up, Nas. Apparently, DPS shamans can also do decurse. They can't do it in form. But can balanced druids do it in form? You can instant swap back. It's going to be interesting to see. Because, like, druids have a tendency of really hating to do the jobs. Druids can. I think balance will likely be able to, but mages can also, right? Yeah, I don't think the bear should, but I do think that a balanced druid should decurse, and if a cat can do it without losing any DPS, they should, and a mage abso-fucking-lutely should. So, this is one of those things that really annoys me when people are like, I don't want to do it. I would rather continue DPSing.
I lose my fucking shit as a raid leader when people do that shit. Especially on Prague. If you want to parse, that's fine. Let's talk ahead of the raid and say, hey, I really want to parse this week. I would love if I didn't have to decurse. Could we find somebody else to take my spot? Because I want to parse this week. That's fine. But showing up to raid and being like, fuck you, I'm DPSing. I would rather just kick that person out of the raid. Because that attitude is contagious and toxic. And I hate it. It's not okay for mages. Mages should also help.
For 2 seconds for a lot of damage.
You're not even burning the boss yet. They could glyph it and increase damage. Well, that's cool. Good.
However, they'll only use these 2 abilities when they're not on a warbird. There's a few ways to deal with this. You can spread out and just AoE everything down with focus on the warbirds and the beast shamans while kicking the flame cats and fireballs. Or you can have your ranged DPS single target down 1 warbird at a time while you have your melee interrupting and killing the flame catchers. Once the warbird is dead, the shaman on its back will jump off and you can go to kill that
So the
shaman.
Dinomancer will heal the boss. So you want to make sure that you're not letting him do that by kicking it. So there's going to be an auto mark weak aura, and you're just going to be in charge of kicking whatever the auto mark tells you to kick, and that's your kick. Partridge. No, dude. We are not supporting that attitude. God, dude, I've had so many just enraging fucking discussions about shit like this. I can't even tell you. Fusion almost died when 2 of our main officers got in a gigantic fucking fight over who should sunder versus expose. Like a huge fight. It was really, really, really frustrating.
This is the strat we opted for. It's a bit slower than AoEing everything down, but it offered more control over this part of the fight. To recap this last gate, make sure that you kick the flame catchers casting fireball, spread out for 5 yards for chain lightning. Tank the
There's the
warmers away from
totem.
the raid so no one gets cleaved.
Okay, so he's got his 4th application of cracked shell now, so he's taking triple damage. So now is when the DPS on him begins. However, there is one more monkey wrench here.
And if you get the Hex Confusion curse, make sure you stop using abilities if you're low on health until someone removes the curse from you. Watch out for lightning over totem as well, and never stand close to them. And as with the other gates, don't tank the ads.
So he charges, he
Close
double
to the wall for
swipes.
the melee to have a better camera angle. And when the dynamo responds, you guessed it, you get the half health, get the orbital quick, and destroy the gates. Once you
There's the dire
destroy
call.
the last gate, you have a little bit of time before War
So you start
Black
DPSing
comes
the
into
boss.
play. So make sure you kill off any remaining ads. and
Finish
then
the
position
ads
boss
up.
in the middle of the room with everyone but the tanks.
Then you go center, and then you fight War God Jalak. What a title. War God. So this is the guy who's kind of shoutcasting the arena match that you're doing. And he is rowdy.
Tank him right by the boss so that everyone can.
So notice charges on the POV of the person we're watching, Mags. He's turning the boss for this thing, which is great.
Attack Jalak without having to move away. This is the time we use heroism. Make sure
Now you lust,
kill Jalak as fast as
you
possible.
cleave
You'll use his
either
beast
off
cry
the
every 10
boss
seconds
and
or so.
hit Jalak,
Shouldn't get more than
or
3 or
single
4 of them
target
off, or
Jalak,
else
but
he's
Jalak
gonna
has
get
to
very
die
deadly.
because he's doing a lot of AoE damage while he's alive. As soon as Jalak dies, the fight's pretty much GG.
One
But
thing to watch
this
out
overlap
is
here
the
is
first
scary.
dire
Look
call
at the
that happens
bosses.
in your
Look at the raid
You will
HP.
normally line up right after or right before a bestial cry, as you can see here. For this, you will need some heavy healing and a raid cooldown to mitigate as much damage as possible. Once
Dire
Jalak is
call
dead, Horridon will deal double
into the
damage
thing. So that's a lot of damage happening right now. So I don't see a barrier, but this is like a barrier Devo Spirit Link situation.
and attack faster. This will make Dire Call do just over 500,000 physical damage, so you need to make sure to have some sort of damage mitigation for each Dire Call at this point. Smoke Bomb, Demoralizing Banner, Spirit Link Totem, Power Barrier, Spirit Shell, Rallying Cry, all works really well here to make sure no one dies from
All
Dire
the
Claw.
stuff's going
You can also
bananas.
use a hand of protection on the tank right as Dire Claw happens to make sure the tank takes less damage. Don't forget that Dire Claw is also only cast once per
Interesting
minute,
they
so
bop
after
the
each
tank.
Dire Claw, don't heavy healers freak out and try to heal the raid to full as soon as possible. You'll have a full minute to heal up the raid, and the tanks at this point will take a...
Yeah, and so then once Jalak dies, the raid's taking way less damage. So you can kind of chill out. The only thing that's going to be scary at this point is the Enrage, which
lot of damage, so make sure you keep your
isn't
tanks
too
healthy.
scary.
Besides that,
And then the boss
you
just
have to make
melts
sure that
now.
you keep an eye on your pink pony dinosaur, keep it knocked back, and make
Oh yeah, don't forget about the pink pony dinosaurs, right? So there's something called dire something, whatever it is. And he mentioned it early in the fight. Dire Horn Spirit. These are gonna really annoy you. They are only visible to you. You get a debuff on you, and this dinosaur is now chasing you the rest of the fight. And this guy's on door number 1 right now. So in order to prevent it from hitting you, you need to push it back by hitting it once, and it will get knocked in the direction that you shoot it at. So you're constantly trying to just push it away, push it away, push it away, so that you're not getting hit by it. Because if it hits you, I think it one-shots you.
massive amount of physical damage.
So watch.
Basically, how you deal with this is pretty simple. All you have to do is you make sure you keep an eye on where your dinosaur is at,
boom.
and you attack it whenever it's in range to knock it back. If you are a pet class, you can
Boom.
send your pet on a dinosaur as well. That will keep knocking dinosaur back until your pet despawns, and you can rinse and repeat that. If you're not a pet class,
Yeah,
you
pet
also
class
have to
isn't
pay
bad.
attention to pink
It's
dinosaur and make
probably-
sure it never comes close to you.
It's probably a
Another
good
thing to mention about the pink
shadow,
dinosaur
or
is
it's probably a
that
good
you can only see
mindbender
your own
target.
pink dinosaur when you are fixated. Towards the end of the fight, when lots of people have debuff, you
That could be
cannot
good.
see their dinosaurs.
It's a good idea.
You don't have to worry about seeing a bunch of dinosaurs up at the same time. Also, I'll put a macro down in the description how to easily target your own dinosaur and knock it back.
But
Alright,
do you
so let's
not
get to
get
strategy.
mana from the hits on it, Gabe? Like, the time in between its running back is missed melees. No, vicious warriors are very good. All right, well, yeah, I see. Fair enough. Okay, that's Horridon. We'll move on to Council. I don't know this fight at all, so Council of Elders.
Well, let's 25-man guide. I'm going to assume that you have done this fight in normal mode, and as such, I will not be covering most of the known vulnerabilities.
So, like I was saying earlier, Foji thinks this is going to be one of the harder fights in here. High Priestess Marley making an appearance? Yeah. I don't know this fight, and it already looks annoying.
For this fight, you want to bring 2 tanks, 6 to 7 healers, with the rest of the raid being DPS, with ranged DPS being favored over melee. We use 6 healers for our kill. Depending on your DPS, the fight might change a lot from having 6 to 7 healers. I'll go into more detail on this later on. This encounter on Heroic makes all the Councilors and Garajal have an extra ability each that you have to deal with. The Councilors will only use these new abilities when they are possessed by Garajal. Garajal's heroic ability is called Soul.
So Garajal possesses one of them, and they do more shit, right? And it only happens what, at every 25%, right? They get empowered or something. So don't you want to like get it to like 76% and then DPS a different one so that it doesn't phase over?
Soul Fragment, and is an ability that happens every time Garajal is forced out of a Councilor. One random DPS in the raid gets his Soul Fragment debuff, which inflicts 35,000 shadow damage every 5 seconds, and every time it deals damage, it will leave behind a stacking debuff called Shadowed Soul that increases all damage taken by 2% per stack. Whenever a
So is Marley possessed by Garajal right now?
player gets a soul fragment debuff, he will also gain an extra action button, which will allow him to pass the debuff to another player. Target a player in the raid and use the extra action button to pass the soul fragment debuff to that player. What you want to do with this ability is to make sure that the players you have in raid that can soak a lot of damage without dying.
After the first, he empowers the highest HP boss after the first one is dead.
And have good self cooldowns, Death Knights, Shadow Priests, Moonkins, Monks, to name a few. Take more of this than others.
Is broken?
Eventually, a lot of people will be debuffed with Shadowed Soul, taking a lot more damage, which is something healers have to watch out for. And also, whoever has high stacks, be smart with usage of self cooldowns and Hellstones. I recommend going to 5 stacks of Shadowed Soul per player first, which is 5 ticks of Soul Fragment.
Okay, so
which is 25 seconds per player.
when something's possessed, okay, so to break the possession, you need to deal 25% damage. But you can force which one he possesses, right? But you don't want him to possess a certain one because it's extra bad. So the idea is that you get one of them to 76%, right? And then he possesses it, and then you deal 1% damage to get him to go to the next one. Is that how it works?
Frost King Malak's new heroic ability is Body Heat, which is a debuff he puts on players that shares frostbite damage. How this works is that as soon as you start sharing frostbite damage, you'll get the debuff Body Heat that lasts for 8 seconds, and during this you can share frostbite damage just like normal. Once Body Heat
if soul is always the lowest, Frost, then Priest, then Roll Guy, then Sandman. What Rock's saying, I can confirm our experience is the same. If soul is always the lowest, he will always possess last.
expires, you get a new debuff called Chill to the Bone, which lasts for another 8 seconds, that makes you unable to share any frostbite damage. There are 2 ways to deal with this. Either you have 2 groups of 4 players in each group, rotating in to stand with whoever has frostbite to share the damage, or you just have healers heal through frostbite without sharing the damage. We opted for the latter in this video and it worked great. Kassadin's new heroic ability is Discharge, which he will use after every roll. This is basically the same
I'm gonna
as
post this to
Overload
YouTube
ability
later.
he has in normal mode, but it's a lot deadlier. You deal with this by stacking on top.
The live will be up, yes, but I'm gonna try to edit it down so it's a little bit more succinct.
Kassadin while using healing and mitigation
Hi,
cooldowns
Lloyd.
to each discharge with 2 players standing up. 1 player with Bite and Cold.
Okay, let's quickly look at the abilities. We're gonna try to take advantage of our friend, whatchamacallit. Do I manually edit it? Yeah, I won't manually edit it a ton, but I will manually edit it, yeah. All right, let's look at Council of Elders. So, so there are 4 of these guys plus whatchamacallit, Garajal. So Frost King Malak. Every 25 seconds, he will do a series of melee attacks, and the tank is stunned if all of them land. You avoid by dodging or taunt swapping in the middle of it, I guess. And you can't let the tank get stunned, I guess. Then he also does Frostbite, which is deals damage, frost damage over time, and you move out of the group every 30 seconds. Then if he's possessed by the boss, instead of Frostbite, when he targets random players, it deals periodic frost damage, and you have to soak it with 2 other players in 10-man. We don't know 25-man. I don't know how many to soak it with. In heroic, you just switch between 2 soaker groups. Okay. Khazrajin is the rolling guy, right? He will charge random players, leaving lightning on the ground every 20 seconds. After he rolls... After roll is stunned for 20 seconds, 50% damage reflect when he's empowered. So Khazrajin's kind of easy, so long as you don't get hit by it, right? Marley ads spawn that heals the possessed boss if it reaches them. So they must be killed and slowed. The boss is tanked away from everybody else, and no tank swap is recommended. Then, if she's possessed, she will cast Shadow Bolts on random players that can be kicked. And she will spawns when a boss becomes empowered by dark energy. They fix on a player, move the boss to other bosses to cleave them while possessed. So you have to run away from the shadow things during the empowerment. All right, Soul. He will cast Sandbolt, which is a range damage cast on random players. They need to be kicked. That's just a simple assignment. Then Quicksand Pool creates slowing patches that spawn living sand ads. Spread out and move out of them. On Heroic, the close traps merge and form bigger ads upon Sandstorm. So you want to keep the sand traps from touching each other on Heroic. And then when he's possessed, Quicksand Pools transform into living sand ads. And then when they die, they leave sand pools on the ground. Every 60 seconds, the raids hit with Dark Power, which is a stacking raid-wide damage cast when they hit 100 energy. And you can't let them get 10 stacks. Stacking Shadow's debuff needs to be juggled at 10 stacks. Extra action button, order, melee tanks, range healer. How does that work? It's an extra action button that you like use it to move it from one player to another. You like throw it. Oh, so you do all the melee, then all the tanks, then all the range DPS, then all the healers. I see. I see. And that's because the melee and tanks have the easiest time of getting healed by passive heals. I see. It's like having the orb in the shot fight. Okay. But so every time you hit 10 stacks, you throw it to somebody else. I see. And then Twisted Fate, it spawns one ad at the boss and one at a furthest player, and they should be killed at the same time. Wow, there was a lot of things going on in this fight. Okay. This fight's just a bunch of mechanics that you need to juggle them all, and then if they overlap poorly, you're fucked. Okay, so the overview. 4 bosses, but they don't share a health pool, so you are multi-dotting. So this is a very good Athlock fight. Every so often, one of them is empowered, and they gain dark energy by Garajal. You have to burn the empowered one until the empowerment switches to another one. And then the possess order is Malak, Khazrajin, Marley, and Soul. So you have to kill Blessed Loa Spirits immediately, which are the things that Marley summons, right? That heals the empowered boss. You have to focus the empowered boss, but also Soul, if no boss is empowered. Why would no boss be empowered? I thought it always swaps somebody else. Does it not always empower somebody right away? It's possible to burn Soul while breaking empowers before Soul's empowered for the first time, which significantly simulates the fight from that point forward. Yeah, that sounds like it's gonna be the strategy. It has that very much sounds like it's gonna be the strategy. You also want to cleave ads from the quicksand. Why? Oh, you cleave the quicksand ads, not from the quicksand. I see. This will likely be the fight that we spend a lot of time on early on. Tanks need to keep the bosses apart. Use to stack when Frostbite hits. Spread for other mechanics. And then you got to dodge the rolling boss. Easy. Heroic adjustments. Powered abilities hit harder and they overlap. Frostbite chains require spreading properly. Use Raid CD for dark power overlaps and assign interrupts for Wrath of the Loa. Watch for quicksand zones. They persist for a long time. And then watch for Frostbite carefully. If you are interested in these slides that Taliador made, they are in my Discord. I'm going to be show my cult. It's in my Discord. All right, we'll watch some of this.
And the other one to lure catch James to roll to a specific spot. We'll cover more on this later. Soul the Sandclaw's new heroic abilities.
So this is the dark power that they're bouncing around, yeah? This is that debuff that they're throwing the ball around of.
Treacherous ground. What this ability will do is that it will lump together 2 or more quicksands that are dropped close to each other into one big quicksand that will spawn a big living sand ad when Soul gets possessed. This big living sand ad will have 125% more health and deal 125% more damage for each quicksand pool that combine into a larger pool.
So you don't want these pools to combine if you can help it.
In case you opted to not kill Soul before he gets possessed and have to deal with his ability, all you have to do is to make sure that by the time Soul is about to drop a quicksand on someone, make sure everyone in the raid besides melee who can't get targeted by quicksand stay away from quicksand that are already placed on the ground, so that when they spawn away from each other.
Cool.
That way, no quicksand will lump together to form a big one. I'm sure you noticed that there's no video footage of Soul being possessed, and that's because we always killed him before he got possessed.
That's gonna be the strategy 100%, is you kill Soul before so that you don't have to deal with the mega ads. You can let them pull if you know you're gonna kill Soul before he empowers.
Killing Soul before he gets possessed
still seems worth not doing, right?
Used in this video, but in case you do get him possessed, just follow what I said previously and you should be fine. High Priestess Marlee's new heroic ability is Twisted Fate, which she will cast about once every 30 seconds. What will happen is that 2 players, the one furthest away from the raid, and one of the melee players in the raid, will have a clone spawn on them. Each clone has about 8 million health each, and will slowly walk towards the other clone. The closer the clones are to each other, the more damage you will take, up to 250,000 shadow damage every 3 seconds on the raid. You can slow, knock back, root, and stun these clones. When one of the clone dies, the other clone will root itself to the ground and deal 100,000 shadow damage every 3 seconds to the entire raid. How you deal with these are pretty simple.
Kill them at the same time.
Have one ranged player stand at max range so that he always gets picked by Twisted Fate.
Yeah.
And then kill the clones when they spawn as you lock them down with stuns, slows, knockbacks, and all that to make sure that they don't get close to each other. Alright,
so Soul is this guy on the left. Khazrajid doesn't even need to be tanked, he can kind of be ignored. Marley can kind of be ignored, right? And then Malak needs to be tanked because he does a lot of damage. So it's a 2-tank fight.
Let's get to the strategy.
All right.
As I said,
we're going to move on to Tortos. So after Council, you enter a bridge and Lei Shen appears on the other side and starts laughing at you. And he's like, fuck you. And then he breaks the bridge you're on and you fall into the sewer. And once you're in the sewer, get used to it because you're going to be there for a while. All right, we're going to do Tortos super fast, and then we're going to call it a day. I have about 20 minutes before I have to do the thing.
25 covering 5 to 6 healers.
So this fight is going to have a lot of really fun sound effects in...
I'll be sitting down so I don't fucking destroy my toilet.
2D10, thank you very much for the tier 1. Guys, if you're enjoying the Throne of Thunder stuff, I appreciate it. The subs are really... I'm really grateful for. Thank you. Tortos is going to have a lot of really fun sound effects in the Foji pack. I made him put a bunch of silly shit in there. So we'll see how it happens.
In this video, we use 2 tanks and 6 healers. Warlocks are also very good.
I think this fight's pretty easy from what I've heard.
This encounter has one major difference in heroic, and that is the humming crystals and the quake stomp. Let's get right to it. There will be a few humming crystals throughout the room. Here's how they look like. Whenever you attack these crystals, you will get a debuff called Crystal Shell, which gives you a shield that absorbs damage equals to 15% of your maximum health.
Okay.
Whenever you have this shield on you and someone heals you, this absorb increases to a maximum of 75% of your maximum health. Crystal Shell is...
Will there be Foji for PTR? Yes. Jarek, yes. Also for the assignment sheet, Saru and I are just about done with it. Our goal is to have it fully complete before the second weekend, but we are not going to have it ready for the first weekend because we're not sure about the strategies that people are going to employ. And so once we are more sure after the first weekend, we will have, I will attempt to post it in the Discord, but not on the Patreon. So that some people can get a chance to use it before I post it wide. So it's just like, we have the Foji string stuff set up already, so that's good. But what we don't have is all of the raid maps and all the assignments set up yet.
Needed because Quake Stomp deals 100% of your maximum health in damage. In other words, people.
So this fight is about like Tortos is a turtle and he's kind of lodged in the wall here, and you're Mario Kart hitting shells of other turtles at him to break his thing, and then you like dislodge him and kill him.
Die outright unless you have some kind of damage mitigation ability or critical on you. Let's talk about the bats first. Either have 1 or 2 players kite the bats around and never kill them,
just hit
or
them.
you tank them and kill them. If you choose to tank them and kill them, make sure that the bat tank is as healthy as possible, and if you tank them by the boss, you can.
And then there are these bats that I assume these guys silence, right?
If you choose to kite the bats, I recommend having a Death Knight tank or a Monk tank do it. Simply kite them around the room while picking up every bat that spawns, and try to be in the center room as possible so you can reach.
Let's look at the thing real quick. Let's pull up Tortos. So, Sapping Bite, heavy tank damage must be mitigated every 8 to 10 seconds. So, very similar to Shaw Fear. Rockfall, rocks fall from the ceiling. You're dodging them, easy. Call of Tortos, 3 turtles spawn. They spin and need to be killed and damaged and slowed. Knock them into Tortos to interrupt Furious Stone Breath with the extra action button. The boss takes increased damage after being hit by a turtle. Tortos sucks. I think Tortos seems kind of like a cool fight, honestly. Furious Stone Breath, massive raid damage must be interrupted by kicking a world turtle at Tortos. Same thing as Call of Tortos, pretty much. Bats, drain the weak. Multiple bats spawn. Once their HP is low, they deal more damage, so you want to kite them. Quake Stomp, massive raid-wide damage, stuns players for a second, and increased Rockfall for 8 seconds. On Heroic, 100% of players need a shield. So that's when you hit that crystal to get that shield, and then you heal the people with the crystal shields in order to increase the absorb. Drain the weak, bats deal increased damage to targets below 350k HP, which heal them. So you want to make sure that everybody's topped up the whole time. So this fight's all about just keeping people max HP. And then Crystal Shell, if you interact with the crystal at 98% HP, you can build up a shield. A chaotic multi-add encounter focusing on interrupting Furious Stone Breath and controlling turtles and bats. The tank needs to tank Tortos, and then the off-tank gathers the bats next to Tortos, or you then cleave them. You kill the world turtles quickly. Kick 1 into Tortos before every stone breath. Dude, these slides are really helpful. Taliador. Thank you, dude. I'm really, really enjoying these. Heavy raid damage from Rockfall and Quake Stomp. Top the raid before each stomp. Spread loosely around Tortos' front. Assign 1 player to the turtle kicking duty, which will likely be the hunter. And then ranged focused bats near Tortos to keep the interrupts easy. On heroic notes, drain the weak punishes low HP players, so everybody needs to be topped up the whole time. Just hit the crystal shell macro when you're above 90%. Don't need to watch a timer. Okay, fair enough. So what would the macro be? Slash tar, humming crystal, slash cast, shadow or pain, slash target last target, pretty much, right? And you just hit that when you do the thing. Is that crystal is focused? Yeah, you can do that too. Okay. So you do raid cooldowns for Stomp and Rockfall overlaps, and then key tips: track Quake Stomp timer and use defenses proactively, and always have 1 turtle near Tortos to interrupt the Stone Breath. So there seems to be some sort of like meta here for this fight in terms of when you're going to be interrupting this stuff. There is a best way to do it, instead of just doing it willy-nilly. And remember, he takes extra damage, so you're going to want to make sure that you're doing it at a specific time, as often as possible, to interrupt the breaths and to when you have a good opportunity window to deal a bunch of extra damage. Okay, so we've been doing this for about 90 minutes. I'm going to call it there. And then tomorrow we will continue this. I will post this video Friday morning. Tomorrow we'll do another 4, and then we'll do the last bit on Friday. I'll post this one Friday morning. I'll post the next one Saturday morning, and I'll post the last one Sunday morning, and I'll edit them all together. So if you're looking for those, if you're interested in these slides that Talidor's making, they're really, really helpful, obviously. They're into my Discord. I'm going to pin them so that you guys can check them out. They're in the TOT for you and me channel. And again, the Patreon will have the full assignment sheet, as well as lots of import functionality for all of the Foji Weekor stuff that is going to be extremely helpful for this raid. So check that out if you haven't. I'm going to do an exclamation point Patreon somewhere. Candy, thanks for hanging out today. You were helpful with a lot of the information. Please come back tomorrow if you're around. And Expelled, nice to see you, bud. Thank you guys. I'm going to be going and doing more research on this tonight. Wink, wink. And tomorrow we will talk about the next 4 bosses, which is Megara, Jikun, Durumu, and what's the one after that? Animus? No. Is it Animus? What's after Durumu? Might be Animus. No. I don't remember. It's the one before Animus. Somebody knows. All right. I'll see you guys. Thank you very much for hanging out today. If you haven't hit the follow button, do me a favor, hit the Primordius. Thank you, Candy. If you haven't hit the follow button, do me a favor, hit the follow button. Saren, I think it's actually gonna be easier than you think it is, but we'll see. And thank you guys so much for hanging out. It was really fun. I like doing these streams. I haven't done them in a while. I didn't do them for Mr. Pandaria because I was too busy playing the game. But I really like them. It's fun to learn, and talking to you guys about it is really nice. So thanks. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Appreciate you. I'm going to throw you somewhere when you get there. Give them a follow, and see you guys later. All right, bye.